Stephen, good afternoon. Thanks for making time for us, buddy.
Absolutely, guys. Great to be on.
Right on. It's great to have you. I guess first question, how bad does Dak want to play right now? Has he accepted it, or is he still blowing you guys up?
No, we're about to have to incarcerate him, I think. He's so ready to go. In his mind, he's ready to roll. So, like we said, we got to almost protect him from himself, but in a good way. I mean, he's just such a fiery competitor and so wants to be out there working. And I'm sure you saw bits and pieces of it, get the feel for it off Hard Knocks. But he's he wants to be out there and working like that. But he'll be just fine. As we said, just do it our way, and this thing's going to work out perfect.
Well, Stephen, as we both know, Todd Archer is a troublemaker, and he's out here stirring it up this morning. He tweeted out, teams are eyeing a move for Connor McGovern in a potential trade, but the Cowboys would be reluctant to deal him. Do we have any deets on that? Is the phone's ringing?
Well, as we all know, and as we saw last year, just because you might have your starting five, which certainly hadn't ruled Connor McGovern out starting. He's still competing his ass off. But, man, you got to have 7 or 8 of these guys to make it through a season. So I'd find it really hard to see us wanting to do anything that would hurt us in that area right there.
Stephen, do you feel like that the draft gods did you a favor by dropping Parsons in your lap?
We do. I mean, we just see it every day out there, and I'm sure, those of you who get to be out at practice and see parts of it can feel it too. I mean, this guy's just a ball hawk. He's around it. He brings a lot of multiple things that he can do to make our defense better, whether it's rushing, whether it's dropping, or whether it's just sideline to sideline with his rare speed. I just think we've got us a football player that's going to make a big, big difference on our defense this year.
How much better do you think it's going to be?
Well, I don't see any reason why it can't be, a top half of the league. And where that falls in the top half, that's yet to be seen. But, as I've said all along, I think it starts with our coordinator who's, really brought a lot to the table in terms of, his energy, his communication skills. It's made its way through the assistant coaches down to the players in terms of how they communicate with one another as coaches and players, and then player to player on the field. The communication's outstanding. Love the scheme. The players are playing fast. It feels like they know what they're doing. And, people say, how can you expect to go from, one of the lower defenses in the league to top half again? I said the same reason we went so quickly to the top half of the league. Personnel, we've invested in the off season, in the personnel, whether it was free agency or the draft, and I feel like they're coached up and ready to play fast and make plays.
Now, Stephen, you mentioned McGovern still fighting to try to be a starter on this team. How many other positions on this team still have that going on when there is a battle? The name I think of is Maurice Kennedy and Jordan Lewis, with Kennedy making plays every day out there. How many guys are realistically still fighting for a starting job?
Well, it's been one of the more competitive camps we've had. I mean, you mentioned linebacker. I mean, we got 4 really good linebackers, with a lot of them having different skill sets. But, when you talk about Micah and Neil, and then, of course, Leighton and Jalen, there as you're especially you're starting it off in the rundowns. But, it's just a really competitive group there. I think the safety group's getting really competitive. I mean, you got Curse, and now Hooker's on the scene. DT does everything the right way, and they're all pushing Kazee and Donovan. So it's I think it's a real competitive group. The young guy is making plays back there. So, that's a very competitive group. And then, you've got our corners, our young corners are pushing AB and, to hold on to his spot. Obviously, Diggs is entrenched. But, it's just it's a competitive camp for us.
Stephen, when Jeff and I were evaluating the draft that Hooker came out of, I felt like he was one of the top defensive players in the draft at that time. Indianapolis grabs him. Was he one of those guys? I'm not going to ask where he sat on your board, but is the reason why you guys have kind of stayed after this so long is that you had some really good positive reports and thoughts about him?
Absolutely, Ryan. I mean, we had him right there where everybody else had him, top 10 type defensive player and a playmaker. And, he's just been unfortunate. He's had a lot of injuries and, in his career, and he's coming off an Achilles. And, they've held him back some. But, we certainly see what made us like him coming out in practice. Now that he's working back into practice, if we're going to he's going to get some good work in the game, tomorrow against the Texans, and then even more work, hopefully against the Jaguars, and, feel good about him.
Stephen, there was a report yesterday Jalen Smith is going to be transitioning to a role which includes special teams, which would be more of a backup role. Can you confirm that at this time?
No, not at all. They're all competing there. Between George Edwards and Dan, they're communicating with all four of those guys, and they feel about what their roles are going to be, and they're very comfortable with what that is. But no way would I confirm that's accurate at all.
Okay. Are you guys looking at backup quarterback going into these final two games? Is that role for Gilbert or another player essentially on the line in these games?
Well, I think Gilbert and Cooper got to continue to work, and they're fighting for that number 2 spot. And obviously Gilbert's got a little advantage there, but they're obviously working to hold on to that role there. But as I've said time and time again, player acquisitions 365 days a year, and we're always looking to get better. And they're not only competing against each other, but they're competing against other people in the NFL, just as people at other positions on our football team are doing the same thing.
All right, I know you got a busy afternoon, but I do have one more question for you, Stephen. I saw that Terrell Owens said somebody in the NFL told him to stay in shape. That wasn't you guys, was it?
I think you can look at our receiving core and see that we're feeling pretty good about our group.
Don't need a veteran fourth or seventh guy. You guys are loaded in. Appreciate.
I think we like our group, and we like the group behind our top 3. There's a lot of reasons to feel good about our 6 or 7 guys we have over there.
Stephen, are you aware of the existence of the Governor's Cup? That's what we're playing for this weekend, is the Governor's Cup. So I'm looking for a W here.
Well, we are too. We always want to win the game, and certainly we're going to go out there and get better, and hopefully we can take that Governor's Cup home with us.
There we go.
Sounds good, man. Give him hell down there. We'll be pulling for you.
Sounds great, guys. Take care.
Yes, sir. There he goes. The great Stephen Jones with you on 105.3 The Fan.